Welcome, one and all. How are you all doing this fine day? Welcome to the Generation X Retro Gaming Club. More on that later, I guess. I hope you're all good. How is chat doing? I hope you enjoyed that wonderful, state-of-the-art opening sequence. I hope you can hear us all okay. I hope everything's working fine today. I want to welcome you all once. This is episode 3, ladies and gentlemen, of the Generation X Retro Gaming Club, as we're going to start calling it from now on, just so you know what it is. Or some people don't get the Generation X bit, and we thought retro gaming will help in the listings, as it were, in the algorithms as they go. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all good. We've got a great show today. Before we go on, let's talk about what have we been playing today, and then we'll just sort of rattle through some of the headlines. Adam? Oh, I can't hear you there.
Do you know, I do that.
I can.
I do that every single time.
It's because you were chuckling at your own titles.
I was chuckling at those amazing
chuckling
new
at your own titles. Yeah.
no expense spared on those titles,
exactly.
ladies and gentlemen. All of 5 minutes worth of effort. But if you watch very carefully, and you've got to watch carefully, you might just notice Clive and me are in it.
Yeah, just maybe if you blink, you might have just spotted it. Yeah,
you've got to look carefully. Hi, chat. Hi, Clive.
Hello.
Tuesday again already. Blimey, that's come around quick. And of course, the older you get, the quicker it comes. But all new Generation X Retro Gaming Club.
Yeah.
So Clive is a mirror image of himself.
Yeah.
And I'm in
Mirrorland.
I'm in a box. I was inspired this week, so I'm now inside a blue box. Well, what have we been doing this week? I have been largely catching up, finishing off some of the games that I bought in the past. So Guilt, I bought before it was free, and also Metro Exodus Sam's Story. I completed that.
What did you think of that?
Really good. It was almost as long as the original game. Actually, have you played it?
Yeah, I have. So it's meant to be longer than the two generals story, which is like Ajiba. But yeah, it felt like a decent chunk of a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't have the emotional impact, I don't think, as Metro, but then you spent
not at all.
A lot of time in that. But
I really enjoyed it though. I mean, Metro's a great game. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of work on Stadia. So yeah,
I love the character models in it and the way you move, and it just feels like it. You know, the way the camera shakes and the movement. It's that imagination that kind of brings the game to life when you think about the movement of the camera. If you're creating a game in first person, whatever, to have the camera sort of move at the right level, it just makes, in the right movements, it's just really clever, and graphically it's amazing.
It's a beautiful game, it really is. And I think it's still quite cheap, isn't it? I think
is it on offer?
Not the price. I don't think it's in the current crop of sales, but I don't think it's huge. Well, Sam's Story is quite cheap.
The DLCs,
yeah, but I think the original game is still quite cheap. So yeah, lots of catching up on stuff, and of course playing the new May Pro games as well, which I know you've certainly been doing.
Yeah, been playing a lot of PUBG. I've given up on Destiny 2. I'm just going to let my GF run amok and go on, get a high score. But now we've been playing. If you want to see Lord Kenzel of Stadia, I've been playing a lot of PUBG, streaming it there with the GF, and quite some interesting conversations occurring during that. We discover all sorts of philosophy, language, culture, everything, and we get shot in the head several times as well. So and there's lots of trying to teach somebody when they accidentally swap the language into something complete, like into Urdu or something, and then how do they get out of it, because you can't read the menus to change back to English. So I had to talk her through it visually, You know what I mean? I can't go to it and select that. Go to the bit that says language because it's all in. It was all in like Urdu or Arabic or whatever. So it's like I'm going no. Okay. Do you see 3 symbols at the top and like just talk it through? And that's like half an hour of entertainment that is before we even get shot in the head. So
I must admit they are great.
yeah.
They're great value. They're great. And you're usually on fairly late with them as well, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. And then I've been playing a lot of Zombie Army. It's a great game. Just the levels are quite short, so you can jump in and kill a few zombies and then get to the next sort of save level point and drop out and then drop in, and it's it's a lot of fun. There's a real arcadey aspect to it, the way the numbers sort of flick up when you get sort of combos and stuff like that in that kind of arcadey way, and I really like that. And it's very bloody in a cartoony way, and it's quite it's a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying that quite a lot as well.
That's great fun. I've been playing a lot of zombies as well. I think I haven't actually done a huge amount of PUBG. I did watch you the other night where you were the last man standing.
Oh God!
Was that the closest you've been since?
No, twice. So twice. I've done that twice. Yeah, I've just fell short of my chicken dinner. Bad decision making and panicking. I did see some person saying, giving advice for PUBG, saying drop into a hot zone and just get used to getting into battles so that you can control that adrenaline.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're not letting your emotions run riot. And when it's mano a mano, you're down to the last one. Or the second time I got to second place, it was just me versus 2 people. I shot one of them, and then I sort of panicked and I couldn't shoot the other one. And it was just, and afterwards you just full of if ifs and ands were pots and pans, as they say.
Yeah, well, absolutely. No, it was very enjoyable.
It's all about the decision making.
Yeah.
Let us know what you've been playing. Chat, whether on any console really.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, on your phone even.
On your phone, indeed, indeed. Right, let's crack on with the news headlines. I've got them somewhere here. If you bear with me. Here's my news headlines.
They're before the bit we just did.
Yes, exactly.
we did snakes and ladders around the agenda.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to do it from memory. Okay, so the headlines today. We're going to summarize the headlines and we'll go through them. So, Xbox Game Pass subscription, they passed 10 million subscribers. Stripped Donkey Kong champion goes to court again. Tennis pros take part in virtual tournaments, and the largest game arcade museum threatened with closure. So, without further ado, he says, got that. Let's crack on. Let's look at these news in more detail. Right, I'm transitioning there. There we go. Okay, so this is Xbox here. So Xbox Games Pass has been out for a while here, and they've, as it says here, they've now hit 10 million subscribers to its Xbox Game Pass service. They confirmed to investor in an investor call yesterday. And this is all part of Microsoft trying to be the Netflix for video games, etc. 10 million Xbox Games Pass is it says here, is a significant milestone. EA's competing subscription service, EA Access and Origins Access, hit more than 5 million subscribers last year, and PlayStation Now subscriber base reached 1 million in October, 5 years after its debut. Nvidia's GeForce has reached 1 million users, but 10 million is pretty significant number. And you think about that, this is where it starts to pay off for Microsoft. Once you're getting 10 million subscribers who are all paying, whatever it is, like $5 a month, just do the maths. And you can see them, and you can see that they can just start investing that money in more exclusive games, more games specifically, like Netflix do, originations that drop day on release in the Xbox Games Pass. This is where, once you get to subscription levels at that level where you can start making investments, and it starts paying for itself. Because you always wonder, well, how can they afford to effectively give away the games for free? Well, when you're making, 50 million a month, effectively, $50 million a month from subscription fees, that's how you do it. You know what I mean? It's quite dropping a few million on a game to get it in the Games Pass. Xbox Games Pass is small fry if you've got 10 million subscribers. So I just thought, yeah, from that point of view, it's just very very interesting story.
Yeah, it is. And of course, there was also the news this week that xCloud will be forming part of that, although at this moment in time, almost certainly an additional fee.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so the big thing at the moment, the other thing Xbox has done is they've launched the Project X Cloud for PC for staff. So the staff are now testing it. Xbox employees, Microsoft employees are now testing the Windows PC application for Project X Cloud, which means the next stage will be probably the insiders, and then a beta rollout and onwards. So we know that's coming, and that's going to be interesting to see because they need to make the jump from the 720p that they're doing for the mobile to the minimum of 1080p.
Yeah.
But and if they can crack it, they have that advantage of the subscription pass. So you've probably been paying 12. So my Ultimate Games Pass is 12 quid, and it gives me Gold, Live, and Xbox Games Pass. So you can probably see that's probably about the price point for the whole, having access to Project X Cloud. So very interesting times, I think.
So you think they'll charge the same price as Ultimate for the base and xCloud?
Yeah, I just think xCloud just provides another avenue for you to subscribe to. So you could have an Xbox and you could subscribe to Games Pass, Project X Cloud effectively, and subscribe to Xbox. So it just gives another way for people to subscribe. If you think that's their business model now, subscriptions. Once having a subscription model doesn't pay at the low levels. It pays once you get to those big numbers, like 10 million plus.
Yeah.
And I say, you just do the maths and like that, it's like brilliant. And so if you can provide a service, which means people are going to give you $5, however much it is, $10 a month or whatever, then it's just another avenue for them to do that. So that's that's the key thing.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Right. Okay. I'm going to just call up the next story, which is also actually from the Verge. Let me just get this here for you. Bear with me.
Yeah. Try.
Okay.
There you go.
Transition that. Okay, so this is Donkey Kong. It's on like Donkey Kong, man.
Donkey Kong. What were those Japanese thinking of? So this is interesting in the sense it's actually not a brand new story, and I know a few people will be familiar with the story. It's a guy called Billy Mitchell, who is kind of legendary for hitting high scores, specifically with Donkey Kong. And I think you were mentioning another one earlier, Clive.
Yeah, I couldn't think what it is, but there was one where he was like, I think, he competes in a number of arcade games. As I was saying earlier, I think he had that haircut in the early 80s when he was actually, it's him there with the long hair. When he was
from his wife.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was a sort of a cool 80s haircut he had, and he's living in the past, and he's still got the same haircut.
Yeah.
He's a real character. But there was another game, I think, where it was like the first person to get 1 million on something, 1 million points.
Like Centipede or something
like that.
Yeah,
some weird game. But yeah, he's quite a character in the sort of old school arcade arena.
So he basically got this Guinness World Book of Records winning score in Donkey Kong, submitted it on video to an outfit called Twin Galaxies, which is a website for gamers. It's kind of like a gamers fraternity, I suppose. And they looked at it and said, well, we don't recognize that this was actually happened on an arcade machine. And without kind of maligning him, said, sorry, but we can't accept this. Now, the community then said, well, hang on, you very clearly used an emulator. And apparently there's a way that the emulator, the intro kind of shifts from left to right versus the arcade shifts from right to left or something, which is a bit of a giveaway. So Twin Galaxy said, no, we're not touching it. Guinness then said, well, we can't record it as a world record if these guys don't verify it. And poor old Billy Mitchell, he fears that his reputation is in tatters.
His reputation is constantly in tatters.
It's not the first time, is it?
No.
Not allegedly. So in essence, he is suing Twin Galaxies to repair his tattered reputation, and that's actually coming up shortly in court. So it'll be interesting to see. That's a defamation suit to just see whether he can somehow prove that he is or is the world's biggest Kong. I don't think anybody really doubts it.
So there's a great documentary which people should check out called The King of Kong, and I think it's about trying him and his sort of arch nemesis trying to get the sort of world records on these sort of old school arcade games. They've been doing it all their life, sort of thing. And he's sort of considered the king of old school arcade games. But the issue is, so the idea is to find it's difficult to find an original machine that's got the original parts to it. And that's, with the original circuit boards, because that's the key thing. It's easy, as you know, like to get an emulator, literally, like you got your C64 thing, and it's not really an original C64 motherboard with a C64 chip. It's just like a glorified Raspberry Pi, and it's just running a very simple program. And it's really hard, as I understand it, and you see it in King of Kong, to find original machines with the original tech in it, because that's what you have to be judged on.
Yes.
And what happens is people put little emulators in there, and they're hard to find, and then somebody will spot it and go, wait a minute, that's not quite right with that, and then there's lots of controversy. So if you watch The King of Kong, it's quite it's one of these kind of you don't have to be into gaming to watch it, because it's about the personalities, and he's a real personality in the world of arcade gaming and stuff like that. So it's well worth checking out.
Long may he reign.
Yeah, but definitely check him out, because it's a interesting character. Right, next story then. I think I'm going to show you a YouTube clip. So I've got so many different buttons to do. Let's just do this. Bear with me one moment, callers.
You've given my story away now. Look, it's the best story I've ever
have
come
I?
up with.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to have that still on screen. See? Right.
Yeah, they were good games. I think
okay,
in the semifinals, maybe Chichipas Murray and Goffin were.
This is Andy Murray and Goffin.
Yeah, we are now going to jump into this game as we head
in the final
over to the court.
Andy Murray versus David Goffin. David Goffin.
And the Matoine did open, and you can already hear that this is going to be a very.
What is happening there?
Let's just get to the end here.
Let's do this. Come on.
Okay, in
Six
the
is
judge line.
Very tight match.
No, I know.
6, 5.
Tired.
Let's go. Come on.
I even like the fact he's putting the ers and rs in there.
No.
And there it is.
Look how much what it means.
Heartbreak for David Goffin. Heartbreak for David Goffin. However,
He even makes noises when he's just sat there playing with a controller.
Oh, let me just get that. There we go. So that I just thought that was just really interesting. Yeah, he's making noises even with the controller there. And so this was like a major tournament that all the sort of major tennis players took part in. And I just thought it was just really interesting. But even more interesting than that, I discovered there's going to be a Mario tennis tournament with the likes of the Venus sisters and the Venus twin, the Williams sisters, and everything, and in it and everything. So again, I just think that was quite funny in itself, and they took it dead serious. It's like the Premier League at the moment playing the FIFA Premier League players playing a FIFA Pro tournament at the time. Yeah. and it was on BBC iPlayer and BBC Sports. But the fact that now there's going to be a Mario Tennis version as well with all the big tennis stars, I just think. Let me just dig up that thing there because it's got some big names in it. I think it's going to be part. So it's part of a marketing thing by
Nintendo, presumably.
No, Facebook, I think.
Oh, okay.
Facebook Gaming.
So there's something money in it.
Yeah. So this. Let me just transition to there. So here we are, the Grand Slam here. It says, "Stay-at-home Grand Slam," and look at them. You got some celebs and stuff in there, but you've got some, a real mix of celebs and tennis players and stuff, and they're all going to be playing Mario Tennis.
Is that a new game, Clive, or is it?
What, Mario Tennis?
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the most up to date, the one that's on the Switch. But I mean, Mario Tennis is a bit like Mario Golf. It's been around a long time.
Presumably, it's on Facebook though, which is why they're promoting it there.
I think, it's live on Facebook. So Facebook launched its Facebook gaming app that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's all part of that push for that. Yeah, that's the main thing on it.
Wow.
So
that's a big name. That must have cost them a mint.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all, Right, it looks like here we got another, let me just put here, another Twin Galaxies story.
You've given the story away. Now you're giving the sources away as well.
Yeah. I thought they were the ones that had the competition.
You can see the path that I've taken through the days I've done my research, you see.
Let me just copy that, and then we'll...
So, Clive, did you know that there was a museum of arcade games? And of course
they're just verifying me. I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot right now.
That's right. It asked me the same
Yes,
question.
I'm not a robot. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So up there, the American Classic Arcade Museum. Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually a place. So it's obviously in the States. I mean, where else would you expect a museum of arcade games?
Yeah.
This is it's quite interesting. It's called the American Classic Arcade Museum. It's a not-for-profit organization set up in the 90s, and it literally has hundreds and hundreds of coin-operated arcade games.
That sounds cool.
Amazing. 70,000 square foot warehouse of this stuff. So you can imagine it takes quite an upkeep, electric and what have you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as you were talking about young Billy Mitchell, I was thinking, well, if there wasn't an original Donkey Kong in 70,000 square feet of arcade video games, they'd be doing something wrong, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But they're also famous, apparently, for retro gaming tournaments. So he may have been involved.
Well, this is it. Well, you were saying that it was their tournament that he effectively won.
Right. So he's probably quite familiar with this.
Yeah.
But sadly, they're facing closure because, of course, since COVID, the dreaded lockdown, no one's been visiting. So Gary Vincent, who's the president of the operation, yeah, there he is. There you go. There's look at all those arcade movies. You can only imagine when they turn on all of those things, the noise and the heat. And the light. It'd be amazing. So he's put up a GoFundMe campaign to try and raise some shekels, because he's basically weeks and weeks out of any visitors. So it's worth popping along to their website. The website's called www.classicarcademuseum.org, and that's essentially the actual museum website. So there's I think on the homepage there's a link so that you can donate a couple of quid if you're so inclined.
Yeah, let me put the link in there if I can get the
that bottom one there you go.
Yeah, I wanted to do it, so I'll put it in the
this is your browser view, is it?
Yeah, I'll put it.
No worries.
But that looks. I'd like to. It's a shame because I'd like to go there. That would be quite.
I know. It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
70,000 square feet of arcade machines. And apparently, he says in the article that he spends all his day literally switching out old boards, PCBs, fans, heaters, the works. And you have to get tokens to spend in the machines, and the actual money they make from the tokens isn't sufficient to cover the cost of operation.
Okay.
They actually make their money from bingo. Which I thought was
Classic.
funny.
Yeah, get the old lady,
Classic
get the old folks in playing bingo.
Old birds in.
Yeah,
That's it. Get them in there, and then they can go in after and have a quick round of Pac-Man.
2 fat ducks, 22. Clickety click, 66.
One large yellow circle with half its mouth missing, looking like a pie chart.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, very good. Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, no, definitely. So I dropped the link in the chat there, just if people are curious about it. Let's have a look. Okay.
Bless them. Yeah, drop them a couple of quid. Pay for keep the machines going for our posterity's sake.
Right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, he says, now we come to the part. Let us know about that. Anyway, about those news stories, and if you looking at the chat, a few things about games past 10 million. Was that total SIB over time or concurrent? I think it's the number of current ones.
Yes, it's people that are actually paying.
Yeah,
to
the
subscribe.
people are actually paying. Whether they're using or not is a different matter. But yeah, Outer Worlds was on there. Outer Worlds is really critically acclaimed. I'm not a massive fan of it. It's like I'm thinking, really? All right, but
there's loads of games like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
I mean, even on Stadia, there are games that people go, "Wow, it's amazing!"
Yeah.
I'm like, not for me. Should we say hi to a few of the people in chat?
Yeah. So we've got Dazadini. Hello there. Tony Stone.
Oh, hang on. Before we go, Tony Stone, no idea who that is. I must just say, chat, that it's actually Dazadini's birthday today. He tells me. So a virtual round of happy
birthdays,
which we can't sing because it's copyright, and then put a little round of applause in the chat.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Show you.
And hi, Tony, brother Tony. Hey, Lee. Lee, good to see you, mate. Hope you're feeling better.
But chasing earlier as well. It was always good to see.
Did we? Oh, good.
Yeah, Mariko.
Fly visit. And our good friend SGD from
Dave, of course.
Sweden.
Yeah. Dave always there. Thank you. Thank you for all the
Zero.
support, Dave, on the Lord Kensal channel as well. Just popping in to see me get shot in the head. Lovely. A masochist or a sadist, I don't know which.
They were both.
Both,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we need a new feature, Clive. What do you think?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think?
We do. Right. What do you? So, do we want to? We're going to do Blast from the Past now, or do you want to do covers from the mothers from the covers?
Well, we've actually got before any of that. We've got On This Day in Gaming History.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry,
which is my new feature.
Yes.
It's my baby.
Yeah, go on then. Hit it.
I've heavy research done here. On This Day in Gaming History. One day, there'll be a little piece of intro music to go with that.
Oh yeah, you need. Yeah, well, that's that could be your job. There's no graphics for me to pull up here.
No, I know.
I did see a tweet about one of these things though today.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, well, you would do because it would have happened on this day in gaming history.
Exactly.
There was relevance.
So let the people know.
I will. 3 things on this day in history, gaming history. Firstly, 28 years ago, Wolfenstein or Wolfenstein. How do you pronounce that, Clive? Stein or Steen? Stein, isn't it? You have a Stein, beer Stein, isn't it?
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, just shout it and you'll get
Wolfenstein 3D.
Wolfenstein.
Gott in Himmel, which was always my favorite in all the comics. It would be Granada, Gott in Himmel.
Those Commando,
God in heaven. I don't know.
Those the Commando comic.
Could have been. Yeah, it was something like that.
Commando they came in like books, but they're comics and commandos. Commando. My friend used to at primary school. Used to have them in
I don't know. I mean,
all World War II stories,
I just loved comics. I mean, we all did.
Jerry.
No, I tell you, 2000 AD, I think it was, because at some point they must have been going into, I don't know, something to do with Germany. And he rode up. So 1992, 28 years ago, Wolfenstein 3D launched on PC. And interestingly, I thought they chose the same date 5 years ago to launch Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. Now, they had 365 days they could have chosen, so it must have been symbolic. Also, 40 years ago, 40, which when Dazzadini was only 9, Ken and Roberta Williams released their first computer game under the name of Sierra Entertainment. Big name in our day, wasn't it, Sierra?
Yeah.
An adventure game called Mystery House. The game was available in just 4 stores in Los Angeles, and they even produced the cassettes themselves. They wrote the game, recorded them onto cassettes, did all the packing,
Yes,
and
that's
sold
back
them
in
in
the
4
day.
stores. Ultimately, they sold out to Activision Blizzard, so they probably did very well. And
I have a
then
little
finally-
treat for you before you get to your little
Go on in.
little treat.
Have you got the clip?
Remember 3D Monster Maze?
Was this was that the 1992 version?
I don't recall, but it reminded me of Monster Maze. I think that was original, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're all kind of, like we've said before, they're all kind of
But interesting. So people
roots.
talk about, I think, Quake and Doom as being like the first sort of 3D shooter things. But I think it was Wolfenstein is the one that has that that sort of claim to fame, as it were.
I think you're right.
But it's interesting. Remember, like in the episode 1, I showed 3D Monster Maze.
Yeah.
And that very linear,
With the Tyrannosaurus
it
Rex.
comes towards you, like,
Yeah, it was brilliant.
give that illusion. That's what that is, just
Yeah.
updated by a couple of years, really.
To be fair, even when you're playing zombies, the recent zombies on Stadia, you're only playing a maze game because, you know, if you were to look up from the top and look down, you've only got certain areas that your character's allowed to go through, and you're pushed through them on a linear fashion. So even most modern games, are, unless they're proper open space like Assassin's Creed, they're essentially just maze games, aren't they? And then talking of modern games, so 5 years ago, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was released on Xbox. And this is the bit that made me chuckle, because I say famously, but I didn't know this. Famously, the game gained renewed attention in 2018 when President Trump remarked on the delivery of F-52s to Norway in a press conference with the Norwegian Prime Minister. Turns out that was a plane that only existed in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So I think his press writer was having a bit of a chuckle.
I think, you know, there was some controversy where there was some fake video that was going around about some, some leak footage of some incident in, I don't know, Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever. And it was going around, and it was picked up by the news outlets and stuff. And then somebody pointed out it was a cutscene from, it taken from a cutscene from like Call of Duty or something like that.
Oh, it's so good. The trouble is, they are so good now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they are proper Hollywood quality.
I was, to be honest, I was so before Call of Duty, there was Medal of Honor, which I absolutely loved. It was the first sort of mainstream sort of World War II game.
Yeah.
And it had a real appeal because if you're a Generation X, or you grew up in the 70s watching Where Eagles Dare and all that kind of stuff, Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood in Nazi uniforms, Disguise and Spies, or Guns of Navarone, or war movies. That was always ever on TV, and all the great classic English actors were playing the German roles.
Yes,
like the Romans, that kind of stuff.
If you have an English accent, you're an enemy in Hollywood.
Yeah, so it really appealed to me when that came out, because I just thought this is really cool, because you get to, and also when we were kids, we used to collect little army figures, whatever, and they were all World War II things. To be able to play a game like that,
Was that one? Was that the game?
The EA game, I think. I can remember.
Was that the one where you told your character where you wanted them to go, and then all your little guys would run over there and shoot?
No. It was like a mission based story, campaign thing.
Because I remember there was a World War II one stuff, like that, where you could zoom out. The chat will tell me what this is. You'd zoom out from your character,
right,
and then you'd see where the enemies were, and you could sort of tell your squad where you wanted the guys to go and stuff. That was really good fun.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I remember was one where the campaign involved you trying to find gold.
Right.
It was World War II,
Mm.
but you had to you were sort of, you went around finding gold blocks and stuff, and that was a first person shooter. That was really good as well. But there's been some great games.
Yeah.
Some great. Chat. Hope you can.
Yeah, so chat. Yeah, Dazzadini's saying, "Oh, Dam Busters, war movie or a Bond every Sunday." That's what it felt like. I think that was a bit. I don't remember there being a Bond. Sometimes there would be a season, maybe ITV would show like 4 of them, but the war movie every Sunday there was some sort of old classic movie, and they were movies from the '60s, effectively, which were all '50s and '60s, which were all. You know, World War II movies, weren't they?
And of course, when we watched them, they'd only been on 10 years before.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So, yeah.
My favorite Saturday nights ever were when BBC Two used to have a horror double bill. Do you remember? You'd have your classic kind of Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, like a Universal, black and white.
Yeah,
Universal.
old black and white one.
Yeah,
and then maybe a Hammer House.
Yeah,
horror.
The Hammers was the Hammer horror were always great. You got your fill of the Hammer. Yeah,
just so good. I wish they'd do that again, because that was the best Saturday night. You watch Starsky and Hutch. Then my brother, who's in chat, he'd insist on watching Match of the Day, which I'd always fall asleep to because of the crowd noise. It was like took me back to the womb.
It's like white noise.
Took me back to the womb. I'd fall asleep.
Referees, yeah,
yeah. And then I'd wake up in time to watch Dracula.
Your mum go to football matches when she was pregnant or something?
Yeah, all the time. Smash bottles. She was terrible. Yeah, absolutely. So them's was the days.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Empire Circus. That was cool.
That was good. That was somebody telling me. So Mariko in chat saying it's a boys' day in Japan today. National holiday. A national holiday. Do the girls get a day?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is for the girls.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe it's a boys' day, but it's a girls' day. You see.
Godzilla movies always on BBC Two really late. Yeah, the BBC Two, like they had the Movie Drome with Alex Cox used to present. You used to get some sort of good, interesting cult film.
Yeah.
And a few interesting European films from Norway that my dad would allow me to watch when I was a little bit older. Put it that way. It was art. It was art, apparently.
Yeah. It was all about a painter.
Yeah. Something like that. Okay, so that was interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we can take a stroll down, I want to say Electric Avenue, Retro Avenue, a Retro Avenue. That's where we're going to go.
That was the one.
Yeah, we're going to take a stroll down Retro Avenue where Adam and I choose a game from our past. And, you know, we've got like a long period. I was just thinking the beauty of this sort of section is they don't have to all be 80s games. You know, they've got such a kind of a wide variety. So the first game for me this week is going to be let me just get this up here. Going to be gentlemen mention. I'll accept the cookies first. So this is still available now. So this is still so it's Paper Mario. Which I absolutely loved, and I started playing it on the Wii. It was one of the games that was in the sort of what they call it, a virtual console shop that they have, where you can buy old games from the N64. So it was an N64 game originally, and on the Wii, you could play old games. So I replayed like Zelda and stuff like that. You could play it on the Wii. And I think you can download it here. Look, if you've got the Switch, you can download Paper Mario. And the thing I loved about it was just the imagination of it. It was like a 3D. It was like a 3D game, but the characters are all 2D because they're paper. They're made of paper. They're like cutouts. And so stickers. they have So they sort of spin around. I'll show you a video clip to give you an idea. Let me just transition to that so we look professional. Right, here's a lovely clip I prepared earlier. What we need to do, put that in there. Then here, and then put that in there. That. Okay, so here's a little a flavour. So N64 game. I loved N64 games. I think it's one of the time I really started sort of gaming again after after sort of left university and stuff like that. I'm going to move it on a bit here so you get an idea of the sort of movement. So it was turn-based. So there we go. So
I want to play that. That's good.
Yeah. So, but you see that. So there, it's a sort of like a side scroller thing. But he could go back into the third dimension. So he could go back and up and across. And then when you got into each time you sort of selected a buddy as you went along, and then it was turn based. So like Steam World Hand of Gilgamesh. Yeah.
Very good.
Like that, where you go, okay, you hit him because you're worth 2 points. I'll hit him, and then he hits you back, and you think, oh, I've lost health. So do I hit him or regen some health? And so it was the first time I'd sort of encountered that turn-based activity, and then it's a sort of a good, like all good Mario games. There's a good puzzle aspect to it. And you meet lots of all the sort of Mario characters that you come across and stuff in it. And what I like about it is that the thing about Mario is they're constantly reinventing ways of presenting him. In fact, there's a bit in that clip which I've forgotten about, where so you see the way that he's rendered as that sort of paper cutout. There's a bit where he finds a box and you hit a box and he turns into his original 8-bit Mario and starts running around for a bit, and so it sort of seems out of place with that game because it's the original 8-bit Mario character, and then he loses that spell and he goes back into the paper cutout kind of character. But it's a wonderful game, and there's lots of gaming hours in it, and I highly recommend checking it out. And if you've got a Switch, you can get it from the Virtual Game Store.
He was originally a plumber, wasn't he, old Mario?
Yeah, that's right. He didn't have a name. He was just a plumber, I think.
Yeah. So did they ever bring his plumbing skills in again in contemporary games?
All I can see, the plumbing aspect is he just goes down pipes.
Right. We're back to your Norwegian art films again, Clive.
Yeah. There's a plumber at the door. Yeah. I've come to fix the washing machine. Yeah. It's Mario. I've come to fix I've come to fix the washing machine. Yeah, no, it's not that kind of thing. But no, I always think that I don't know what point did Mario, and maybe chat could at what point did Mario become a plumber? When was he a plumber? Because originally he was saving a princess. That was his role, going up the tower, trying to save it from Donkey Kong. There's a whole story about the whole why is he called Donkey Kong and not King Kong. But yeah. So I don't even think he was defined as a plumber then. Maybe some sort of worker who worked on the tower block. I don't know. Wow. And then the pipes came in, where he jumps down. When he goes down a pipe. Yeah. And then he either come up bigger or go down into a secret world or whatever. That's the only plumbing link I can think of. Yes. Why is Mario a plumber?
I don't know. Let's move swiftly on.
Yeah. All right. So while we do that,
I'm going to cue it up.
I'll cue up your voice of game. Yeah, here we are. Okay, yes.
Now, the reason that I've chosen this, Clive, is because there may be some people that don't know that on Saturday, I spent a couple of hours going down 64K memory lane myself.
I'm gonna put this in the YouTube. When we talk and people hear us and we've got the YouTube on, but I will put it on. I'm going to drop it into the tube.
I can't hear anything, but it may well be there.
I haven't played it yet. I'm playing it on our thing. Here we go. Look at the graphics there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Boulder Dash.
All those kinds of games that
Well,
they're all
I'm not
over the
sure.
place.
I didn't hear you then, but I don't know if chat heard you talking then.
I think chat heard me, didn't you, chat?
Yeah, if you could hear
Yeah.
Rokk telling. He probably was telling some wonderful story about Boulder Dash while that video was going on there. And we missed that gem, but there we go. Go on, start again, just in case.
That's why he went.
Yeah, exactly. What happened?
It was an amazing. Did you, chat? Did you hear me just then waffling on, or like Clive? Did you hear nothing? And
Because that means every time I spoke over my pieces, nobody else. Anyway, doesn't matter. No, tell us about Boulder Dash there.
Well, what I was basically saying very quickly at the weekend, Commodore 64 unboxing. You can see it if you go to our this channel, but widen it out a bit. Okay, thanks, Lee. Nobody could hear me. Never mind. So here we go. I did an unboxing of a Commodore 64 on Saturday, and I played various Commodore 64 games.
He did.
The
We're
relevance
tempted to play
this
some.
is it's 2 hours long, and you can watch it on our Generation X Retro Gaming Club channel, and it's quite entertaining. And one of those games is Boulder Dash, and Boulder Dash, hugely successful when it came out in 1984. It actually started on Atari, but it made its way across, you name it, Apple II, MSX. Remember the MSX? ZX Spectrum, C64, NES, BBC, the whole world. And it was massive. But here's the thing. Like Clive's Super Maze game that was the granddaddy of all maze games, this was really the granddaddy of all boulder games. So when you play Steam Heist Dig and some of the kind of other diggy type games, this is the one that really kicked it all off. It was good fun. Are we back again?
No, what I've done, I've put it in the news section so that we're on the bottom.
Oh,
so we can talk. So this time we can hear you talk as we see the.
Perfect. Right, I see. So in the other, that doesn't matter. We don't need to go into our
technical behind the scenes
worlds. Yeah. So essentially, this is, if you look at these kind of games, it's identical to Dig in the sense that you've got to unravel some gems that are in the earth, and watch out that the boulders don't smack you on the head. So there's no such thing as an original idea.
Oh, I see. So so the boulders drop down just like as you say. If you're not careful in Steam World, whatever.
Yeah, Steam
you
World
get a big old block drop down on your head if you dig under it. Yeah.
So it is essentially the basics of the game. But it was very successful and actually very addictive to play as well.
Those graphics just remind me of the the whole ZX Spectrum ZX era that we were talking about, and there's the C64. Remember the VIC 20?
Say again, mate.
The VIC 20.
I do remember the VIC 20. Yeah. Well, it came out before the 64, didn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think I ever had one actually. I think I only got into because I went from the Texas TI 994As, and then I think I went straight to the Commodore 64. And then ultimately to the Amiga. But I do remember when I had my Amiga, I was quite keen. I had all of the peripherals. So I had the monitor.
Oh, yeah.
I had the disk drive, because everything was separate. Joystick was all separate. And I tell you, it cost you as much to buy then as it would do today in today's poundage.
We're in the chat, just the chat there. So Dave saying it reminds me of Dig Dug.
Dig Dug, yeah. Bomberman, absolutely.
Yeah, on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't know, they may have come out before, but this certainly, you can see the basis of SteamWorld Dig is going on in there, can't you? Although it's, there's a huge amount going on in Dig. It's a great game. And obviously they're not in any way plagiarized. It's a classic setup. Yeah. Just like the basis for most books.
Well, like that 3D, like Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
The precursor of that kind of idea, but which, as I said before, you look at 3D Monster Maze, It's not a million miles from that, which predates that. So,
Yeah.
and as I say, I think Wolfenstein 3D is considered the sort of the granddaddy of first-person, shooters like your Doom Eternal and Doom and your Quake and that kind of stuff. So very very interesting.
No, very much so. And chat, if you'd like to see more of the Commodore 64 quality 8-bit from the 80s games, I will be doing some more streaming at some point. So just let me know if you'd like to see that. We'll set something up on maybe on a weekend again and crack open some of those games because it was a chuckle. Hey, Charlie. I've got to say hello to my daughter. She gets upset if I don't say hi.
Hello there, Charlotte. Can I just show you my my T-shirt?
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Brexit invader.
Yeah, Brexit invader. My Union Jack invader. I have a collection of them.
This
different
looks
flags.
I'm sure I've seen these at an online store, Clive.
Maybe you have, maybe you haven't.
Can you remind me of the title?
Yeah, I can. StarCrashDesigns.com.
StarCrashDesigns.com.
Let's put it
I remember now.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Who could ever forget StarCrashDesigns.com?
Yeah, geek gaming fandom, whatnot. There we are. Look, nothing like plugging your own thing.
No, I'll be doing my Patreon next week, mate. So you better get on.
Yeah. I've got so there. I have a Pride one. I think I've done a Swedish one.
You've got ones of you've got a Jamaican one.
Jamaican one.
You've got
loads. There's American ones. American flag thing. French one. Yeah, a whole variety. I have a sort of a Imperial Japanese one, which I kind of regret afterwards because I didn't realise it was Imperial Japanese flag and not.
Yeah, they got upset with you, didn't they?
Well, I just kind of thought, you don't know, do you? Think, is this offensive?
Yeah.
Because in the 70s, people used to have the Imperial Japanese flag on their sort of, heavy metal bands used to have them on their rock guitars. Quite
the
cool.
Bandana, but of course,
it has cultural significance,
connotations.
So,
yeah.
But I wear it on a nice sunny day because it's yellow. Daisy yellow, so why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
but
and they're very nice quality as well. They're very high quality T-shirts as well, Clive, aren't they? It's the right material. Of course, they would look a bit bigger on me, but
they come in a variety of sizes. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Do they do quad XL?
I don't know. I go up to that as triple XL. Yeah, you just dress it like was it Giant Man or whatever? Is that the shops you have to go to or something?
Giant Man, no.
Yeah, whatever it is.
I'm all right at Debenhams, mate.
Okay, good.
Actually, I'm not anymore, am I? Oh no! If you're working at Debenhams, apologies.
Yeah. Why? What did I miss something? Are they not?
Oh, yes.
The wall?
Yes. Yeah. They've called it a day, sadly.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what games you'd like to see featured on here, and some old retro games that we might not have thought about that are worth us taking a look at. I think maybe going forward we'll sort of take requests, as it were, and sort of have a delve into the archives of games that chat suggest and stuff like that. So definitely put that there. Desardini says, "Love my Amiga." Yeah, so Amiga was post Commodore. Yeah,
I love my Amiga as well.
Okay. Still have box games, joysticks, Desardini.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, Daz. I had all of that stuff. I had a massive thing of games, and I went to visit some company, and they had a wall of old consoles and PCs and stuff. And I thought, wow. So I donated my Amiga to them because I thought it would look great in their big display. I thought it would be like looked after. And I went there a couple of months later, and I said, "Oh, whatever happened to my Amiga?" So we flogged it on eBay. Yeah. What? Why I oughta?
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, so let us know. And then, as I say, Adam will be playing the C64 games, streaming them. I think you should. I did not think like whether the chat would like it. I just think you should do.
I will do it. I don't care whether they like it or not. I was only trying to be democratic.
Okay, Dave's put here Alex Kidd. Yes.
Oh, Alex Kidd.
So yeah, my friend's brother is a massive Alex Kidd fan. Chuckie Egg
Oh, yes.
on the BBC microcomputer.
But it did make its way onto other platforms as well, didn't it? Or was it only on Acorn or whatever?
No.
I mean, it was the most successful game on that platform, but I thought it had existed in other places as well.
We'll have a look here.
Because I always
do you
wanted to
know
call
what?
it
Let's
Chuckie.
treat everybody. I know we should save it, but okay, this is going to be annoying. But there we go. Here we go.
Falcon Patrol. Yeah, that rings a bell as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just because it happened to pop up, Chuckie Egg. I remember the name. I just don't remember the. Oh yes, yeah. Okay, it's a Donkey Kong ripoff.
Oh, I don't think there was ever anything original on Acorn.
No, not back in the day.
No.
Poor man's Donkey Kong.
Poor man, yeah.
Oh, the birds come in. The goose is unnamed goose game.
It is. I am 90% certain that this also existed on the Spectrum, or at least the 81.
There's weird noise, very disturbing noise there. Let's have a look. That was ZX Spectrum. That version we saw was the ZX Spectrum. It was on the dragon. Oh my god, the dragon!
Dragon.
Oh my
I've
god,
forgotten the dragon.
Yeah, so did
Wow.
I. Oh, does anybody remember the dragon?
Yes, that Welsh platform. No, I think it was made in Wales. I'm fairly certain. I may be wrong.
There, look. I remember that so well. Oh my gosh. I think because I was either in the shop and I was very envious of it, or a friend had it. A Dragon 32.
That's right. There it is.
A good old machine that was.
Yeah, you're right. That was the one in Dixon's, and you thought,
yes, that's the one.
That looks good.
10 print, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. The keyboard and
it felt like a proper computer.
Check it out on Wikipedia. I'm fairly certain they were based in Wales.
Oh, hence the dragon bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, wow, that is a massive.
Yes, in Port Talbot, Wales.
Talbot, there you go.
Until 84.
There you go. That was a massive blast from the past, that one.
They entered the market in 1982.
How long was it out for?
The Dragon 32, followed by the Dragon 64.
Yep.
They sold well initially and attracted the interest of independent software developers, including Microdeal, and a companion magazine called Dragon User.
I may have bought 1 or 2 copies.
Yeah, the graphics capability were more limited than the competition, such as the ZX Spectrum and BBC Micro.
But it did have that.
This was significant for the games market and restricted the appeal of the Dragon.
Yeah.
I always thought it was. It looked really cool.
Lovely keyboard, and the others didn't have. I mean, the BBC Micro did, but that was mega exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and that had the best keyboard ever. The BBC.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous piece of kit. But the Dragon. Wow, I'd completely forgotten.
We had a real good, in this country, a history of these home computers, thanks to the sort of ZX80 and then the BBC Micro computer, led to a kind of real sort of little mini British industry, and then the games development for those games. And as I said before, that's why I can't remember saying to you, but saying that we have a healthy games industry in this country. Partly because there's loads of kids grew up creating games for the ZX Spectrum, whatever, making a few £1,000s, and then they became the EAs and the whatnots. They're sort of bought up by big publishers later on and stuff. So and then started their own big, games development companies, which are still some of them still around today. So
well, Lara Croft is still a brand that was obviously been going since day one.
Yeah, and the guy from IDOS. Behind it and stuff. Yeah, I think that was his background. Well, there we go. That was a kind of a nice little trip down memory lane there.
Amazing.
I'd completely forgotten about the Dragon 32. It was nice.
Clive, I've got a confession to make, Clive. I've been watching the video while we've been talking, and I've been seeing this box with Rokk in it, ROHH, and it's just literally struck me that it's a K. It's the typeface. I've been thinking, what is Rokk? and I realised that it's the two Ks
Yes.
of Rokk.
Yeah. Do you want me to change the typeface?
Well, it's confused me, but I'm
it looks
easily
like H's.
confused.
Yes, I get that with my name sometimes. It's like if the L's are like a capital I, it just looks like
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Mr. London?
I was thinking, who's Rokk?
Yeah. All right. Well, we can check that.
That's okay. It's a minor observation.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you for that.
Do you know
Anyway,
who I
ladies
am?
and gentlemen, there we go. Another little trip down the retro gaming avenue. As I say, this is what the Generation X Retro Gaming Club is all about. So I hope you've had a good time. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like these features. It's really quite interesting to sort of have a little trip down that memory lane. As I say, that Dragon 32 was a pleasant surprise. I completely forgotten about that.
And Chuckie Egg.
Chuckie Egg was a good cool chat. You've got to just like put these things down when we have these things, because we can.
That's great.
Although we sort of basically structure the show, we're happy to do things on the fly. So yeah, absolutely. So I hope you've had a good time. Did you have a good time there, Rokk?
I do. That was my favourite show so far. Raw. I love Dazzardini's Raw Viking Warrior.
Yeah, Raw Viking Warrior. Yeah.
Valhalla. That was my favourite show so far. I know we've only had 3, but of the 3, that was my favourite. I enjoyed that. That was good fun.
What, Raw? Oh, this show? Or I thought there was an actual show called
not
Raw Viking Warrior.
No.
Is that on Amazon?
Like Kirk Douglas with his one eye. No, that was not. That was
a fun show. They're getting better, people. Even if we say so ourselves, eh?
Yeah, we work at it. We are working at it. We're trying.
You know what that calls for, though? That calls for a final goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
And
let's do it.
Bye, chat.
No. X. The X gone. Chuckie X.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming by.
Love you. Cheers, chat. This is us winning stuff, mate. You know this, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is high-budget CGI. And more to the point, it goes to the beat. About to start, yeah, we'll have to do an outro. Brilliant.